It's Saturday morning. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Motivated Entrepreneur. So today we do a book review day every single Saturday, and we're talking about Red Notice. It's by a guy called Bill Browder. I first heard about Bill because he was on a football podcast, and when they was talking about Roman Abramovich, one of the oligarchs, and obviously his fortune being stuck. So what we stuck, I forgot the word, I forgot the terminology. Anyway, you know what I mean. And so I was so fascinated by this because I always want to understand what's happened in the past, because a lot of the time the past points to the future. And if I can understand what's happened in the past, then I've got more inkling about what's going to happen in the future. So I don't know a lot about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, because the reason being is I try to stay away from the news. So I just know the top level stuff. I know the headlines. That's it. I don't know anything else. One, it puts a negative spin on things, and it just upsets me. It really gets me down. And I wanted to understand, and I'm all about mindset and positivity and stuff. And yes, obviously we want to do our bit for charity and do what we can when we can. But it doesn't mean that I've got to sit and suffer and watch the news. I won't say propaganda, but you only hear one side of the news. I'm not saying that Putin's good or anything like that. Don't be silly. Of course not. But you only ever hear the narrative that suits the bigger people who control the news. I'm a massive believer in that. So always look for both sides. And so I wanted to understand a little bit more about what happened in Russia and how these oligarchs got really rich. What happened to Putin? How did he have such a controlling impact over all these people? And oh my God, this book did not fail to deliver. This is one of the best books there is out there. It was so enjoyable. It was wonderful. It talked about how the oligarchs, the 20 or so people in the previous regime before Putin, they had a deal and they got control over some big companies for pennies on the dollar. And then the previous regime would allow them, give them contracts, so the company would grow and grow and grow. And basically Putin came to power. He thought he was against it. Everybody thought he was against all this. So what he did was he took down the biggest oligarch. So what you do in the school playground, if you want to make a name for yourself, you take down the biggest, hardest, strongest kid. And so that's what he did. He took down the richest oligarch and then basically sent him to jail and said, look, listen to all the other oligarchs. If you don't want to play ball, then this, my friends, is what's going to happen to you. And so all the oligarchs played ball, and that's how they got rich, and that's how Putin's got rich. And we don't know how much money Putin is taking off these oligarchs or whatever happening. We don't know the exact deal, but it was fascinating. It was a really good book. It was fascinating. It was a brilliant read about this. I suppose it was not a venture capitalist. He was a stock market analyst, and he did all this in America. And yeah, it was really good. And then he's now on the run from Russia. One of his close working colleagues got murdered in the Russian jails, and even though Russia say no, he's making up some bullshit. It was a really good book. It was fantastic, and all the truth is out there now. And it's a horrible democracy. It's scary shit that these things can happen. Even saying all this now, I'm thinking, oh my God, what happens if the Russians come after me? And it's just a great book. I would recommend it to everybody. It's a fantastic book, a fantastic read, and you understand a little bit more what happens in the world. All right, my friends, I'll speak to you on Sunday.